Good morning, Ingrid.
Good morning, Christine. How are you?
Just good. I'm so excited about having you. A bunch of people have asked me if we're related. Yeah, I just looked all over the world for someone with my last name.
Oh, good on you. I wondered how you'd found me.
No, when I introduce you, I'll explain it. I've got a couple of kittens that I might need to throw out. They've
Oh,
decided
wow.
to be
Oh,
real
aren't they
rowdy
cute?
here.
Yeah.
You can see one of
I can
them
see
this
one of
way.
them. Yep, just jumped off the couch.
Little creeps. But anyway, I'm really looking forward and I appreciate you, your willingness.
Oh, well, I've done lots of stuff on Zoom and it's nice to connect to the other parts of the world.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Now
Yeah.
is it Wednesday there?
It's Wednesday, 7 a.m. here.
Yeah, so you guys are way far ahead of us.
Yeah, we are. We're, I looked it up, 19 hours, I think.
Right, almost. Yeah, you've got your coffee, so do I. It's almost 10, but it's still time for coffee.
Yes, of course.
I went to a Rotary Club meeting in Rarotonga
Oh, did
back
you?
in the 90s, I think.
Oh,
But that's
wow.
the only time I've been in your part of the world.
Right. Yeah. So Rarotonga is actually part of our district. So I was governor 2 years ago and loved my visit to Rarotonga. It's an amazing place.
We had a great place that we stayed right across from the hotel that had the Rotary meeting. So I saw the wheel on the hotel, and I went, well,
Yep.
then. Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Oops, I got to make sure I'm watching the waiting room.
Oh, yes. That's always a trick, isn't it?
One time I forgot, and there were people waiting, and I'm like chatting with somebody. Okay, here comes Sherry. Oh, it looks like I already admitted her. Hi, Sherry. So Ingrid, do you write a lot of articles for the blog? That was just one I happened to find.
No, I haven't. That's the only one I've written.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody picked it up and it kind of went.
Yeah, that's the way I found you.
Yeah, that's great. We, as an assistant Rotary coordinator, we all have to write articles for our newsletter for our zone.
Uh-huh. Makes
No,
sense.
I haven't done any others.
Okay. Sherry, are we going to be able to see your smiling face, or are we just going to see a picture of you?
It's 10 a.m. in the morning.
Well, where Ingrid is coming from in New Zealand, it's tomorrow morning at 7. So we don't have very good excuse.
Woo!
Right. Yeah.
She's not going to feel bad for anyone. Oh, good. Corey Lepardi is coming. And hi, Janine. Hi, Corey.
Hey there.
Oh, Corey and Ingrid must have got the memo on what the background should be.
Yeah. Which one to choose today?
Last month, we talked about holding hybrid meetings, Ingrid, and
yes.
Corey was our facilitator. He's a assistant zone coordinator in the district north of us, up in Washington State. Oops, here comes somebody else. I better keep watching. Chris Muldery is here. Nice to see your picture anyway. I suppose you're using the same excuse Sherry did about it's too early in the morning to show the real you. Monica, you're brave.
Oh, I've been up hours and hours, and I hope my hair is dry.
Oh, I like Chris's. That looks like Rarotonga, Christine.
Oh, yeah, Chris Muldery. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, I want to find a virtual background for my Zoom meetings that has a fireplace crackling and maybe a tree, but I want it to be a video. And I started to look for that last night and then I got busy with Rotary stuff. So that didn't work. Whoops, here comes Kim Myers and Bill Griles here too. Whoa, we're calling in the big dogs.
Gosh. Oh, somebody's got a nice tree in the background.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one and put it back
Oh,
here,
look at
back
that,
here.
Corey. Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Hi, Bill.
Good morning. Merry
How are
Christmas,
you?
everybody. Just fine. How are you?
Good. Bill is
Yeah.
our past district governor. Was it just last year?
It seems like it, huh? 2 years ago.
Oh, man. Oh, that's
Oh.
right, because Rick was in between there.
Rick, yeah.
Were you 1920 or 1819?
I was 1819.
Oh, same as me.
There you go. Hi, classmate.
Did you guys meet each other?
Well, we were in the same room together.
We would have been, but there were a lot of people there.
And Kim Myers is here. Nice treat, Kim.
Thank you.
Oops, here comes 3 more people. I better get busy. Jerry Finnegan's joining us. Kathy Hoffers from my club. Yay, president-elect.
Mm.
Annette Olson's, Tammy Turner, Debbie's coming.
My president-elect's here too. Hi, Sherry.
Sherry's not showing her face.
I'm the one that's not going to show my face.
I probably shouldn't when I look at it. Every time I get on these meetings, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And we're all whining because it's almost 10 o'clock and Ingrid is up tomorrow morning. She's so far ahead of us. It's 7 o'clock tomorrow morning
Oh my
in New
goodness.
Zealand.
Oh, true,
Right,
true.
it's a nice day. We're going into summer, of course.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
right. Right. I know, I was looking at, my girls are in Miami and it's like 79 to 81 there, which is a really nice temperature there. I'm like, oh.
Well, it's not here. If I turned my computer around and showed you what we have, you'd probably be glad you're where you are.
It's gray.
Yep, it's gray.
It's Oregon. What can we say?
Yeah, we have a lot of rainforests and they call them rainforests for a reason.
Right.
So we could use more of that rain.
Yeah, we had a lot of fires last summer, so it's just as good. Here comes Daniel Reese. It's 10 o'clock right now. I'm going to give it about 3 minutes after, and we're going to get going for the benefit of the people that showed up on time. And I'll keep letting people in as we go.
I always want to ask Daniel, where are you in that picture that you put up?
Stop it.
Looks like he's in Africa or on a trip somewhere.
He explained once, but I
Oh,
forgot.
did he? Yeah, I
He
don't.
must have left the room. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm there. I was on mute. Sorry.
That's okay.
I just got back from a run and I'm a sweaty mess, so I'm not going to reveal myself. The photograph is on an infamous trip that my wife and I took, the infamous Matatu to Namanga.
Oh, okay.
And this was a friend. This is a guy. This is from Nairobi to. We were going to Nairobi to Arusha, and yeah, it was quite the trip. This is a guy I met that we became pretty good friends with. He's actually from Ethiopia.
Nice.
Rick Olson, our past district governor, just joined us. I'm so
are
busy
you?
admitting people I forgot to notice.
Hello.
And Don Welch is here from South State. Mitch Allen just joined us, Tammy Turner, Debbie Amin. Oops. Let's see here.
They meet each other's homes or a bar, and they take turns.
Don, is that your background that we're hearing?
Oh, yes, just a minute. I'll get rid of that.
We want to hear you, not your background. Ingrid, are you going to share that little graphic you showed me about etiquette? That was so cool. I had not seen that before. Corey will be interested. We'll all be interested in that. Very handy to have.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Christine Waugh, in case it says meeting presenter, because I'm utilizing the district Zoom site. And I'm going to go ahead and get this party started. So our meeting today is about how to reach out to our members. So I Googled it. This is the way I start all these programs. I Googled ideas for staying connected during social distancing for Rotary. And it took me right to the Rotary International blog, where I found this article called Ideas for Staying Connected During Social Distancing in Rotary's International blog. And it was written by this woman named Ingrid Waugh. So guess what? With a name like Waugh, I'm not looking any farther. She's got to be awesome. So I reached out to Ingrid and I said, hi, I love your name. Would you mind coming and facilitating our program? And she graciously, of course, said yes. So I told you a little bit about her in the email, that she is the Assistant Rotary Coordinator supporting District 9910 and 9930, National Learning and Development Coordinator for all of Zone 6, which is New Zealand districts, Rotary Leadership Institute Chair for New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. But what I didn't tell you is her history began as a charter member of the Henderson Rotaract Club in Auckland, New Zealand, and she attended Oryla. Her reconnection with Rotary came as a charter member of the Rotary Club of Parnell, Auckland in 1994, where she held lots of positions like we all have, including president in 2006 and 2007. Now she is retired from a 20+ year career in human resources and organizational development, which makes her doubly perfect for talking today. She developed her passion there for growing leaders and working with individuals and teams to help them reach their potential. So help me welcome Ingrid. I'm going to turn it over to her, and I'll take it back at about 5 till, and we'll wrap it up and talk about next month's meeting. So Ingrid.
Thank you very much.
If everybody else will mute, that'd be great.
That's cool. This is just so great to connect across the Pacific Ocean, and it's a pretty awesome audience, I have to say. So I hope that I can share some things that may be new ideas. I thought I would share a few ideas and then open it up for discussion, because I think that you'll have lots and lots of ideas as well. So I'll share my screen with just a few things. But thank you so much for being here. I couldn't resist it when somebody, with the same name asked me to do a session. So I will just quickly start off by showing you our zone. So we are part of Zone 8 now, as of the beginning of this Rotary year, which is all of Australia, as you can see here. They have four Pacific Islands: Nauru, the Solomons, Papua New Guinea, and Timor-Leste. And then New Zealand down here has 6 Rotary districts. Will be 5 in a couple of years' time, because the 2 in the South Island are merging. And we have a large number of Pacific Islands, and 7 of those Pacific Islands are in my district, which is 9920. So when I was governor 2 years ago, I had the privilege of visiting all of them. But I guess the best part really of having those Pacific Islands in our district is that we do a lot of projects in those islands. So at the moment, I'm just working with my club on a project to supply a water tank to an island up here in Fiji. And we have lots of those kinds of projects going on. So I thought it would be good to just show you where we are. So I'll just stop that share, and then I'll just have a few slides, not too many at all. So I'll start from the So here we are, connecting from New Zealand to District 5110. I looked you up to just see if I could find out a little bit about you. I didn't find a lot, but and I've never been to Oregon. I've traveled a lot, but I have not been to Oregon. So I will have to make that on my list when we're able to travel. Of course, in New Zealand now, we are no longer in lockdown. We are now able to meet in person. I'm interested that your meeting last week was about hybrid meetings, because I tried to convince my club to have hybrid meetings, but unfortunately the majority wanted to meet only face-to-face, which is interesting. I think after having been meeting on Zoom, we use Zoom more rather than Microsoft Teams or other tools. And after meeting on Zoom for about 4 months, people chose to go back only to face-to-face, which I think says something about human connection. So we're talking about connecting, and I guess, we all know, and it's been scientifically proven, that human beings need connection, and we need connection physically and virtually. And I think it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see some of the research that comes out after these long periods of lockdown. It's already coming out around the world about the need for human connection and what is happening with people emotionally and psychologically when they're locked down for long periods of time. Rotary, I think, has been reasonably proactive in this space in terms of setting people up to connect in different ways. But when the time comes to get back to doing things, they want to get back together. And I've been interested to watch what's happened with clubs in terms of their projects and what they do during times where they're only connecting virtually. One of the interesting things, the good things, has been clubs reaching out to have speakers, people come and talk to them that they would not have done otherwise, because you can get people from anywhere. But what has not been happening so much is doing projects and fundraising. So I will share a few examples today of things that have been done that can still be done even if we're connecting virtually. So what I thought I would just quickly poll you about is, how comfortable do you feel about changing to more online meetings? So a 4, you can hold up 4 fingers. A 4 is extremely comfortable to 1 feeling not really very comfortable at all, and I don't like it very much. What are your feelings about having online meetings and connecting virtually? I can see 4s, 3s. Most 1, 3, 2. So there's quite a range, and I think this is one of the things that we've learned from having online meetings to going back to face-to-face meetings, is that people like connecting virtually for a period of time, but actually they really like coming together and just chatting and being with the people that they enjoy just being with. So let's think about some of the things that we can do. And I've taken it from 2 perspectives. One is connecting to engage members. And this is really for thinking about when we're mainly meeting virtually. And secondly, I'll talk about connecting to attract members, because actually lots of clubs in our part of the world have brought in a number of new members while they've been actually meeting virtually. So I've kind of thought about 5 key things, but also one of the main things really is to have fun. Even on your virtual meetings, it's still possible to have fun and make them lighthearted. So one of them is about providing people with some reassurance that virtual meetings are real meetings, but also that it's okay if you don't really like to have a virtual meeting. I mean, not everybody does. They feel like that it's not real. However, I think as the person convening meetings, one of the main aspects is to run it like a normal meeting, as Christine has done today, and I guess you've been doing that for quite a long time now. I'm also, I think this I'm also the co-chair of a project that we're doing in our part of the world to look at a regional structure for Rotary across our zone, which is interesting. And we have done all of our meetings virtually, and including with the UK and with the United States. So this week I have 2 meetings with the US and 1 with the UK. And, you know, we've been able to make a lot of progress in terms of designing what our project's going to do, setting up working groups, getting them going. And it's all happened virtually. But one of the things that has come out of that, and talking about change and change management, which is kind of, you know, a bit of what we're doing when we're changing to different types of meetings, is understanding what people are losing, because that's what they fear, is what they'll lose. And what they lose in face-to-face meetings is that personal connection. So sometimes we just have to think about providing a bit of reassurance about that. You're probably all highly, I can see now, you know, highly skilled in terms of using the technology, but there are still people who are not feeling so skilled about that. And, you know, in the beginning, we offered tutorials. So before we had our very first online meeting, we offered people tutorials. But then as time went on, we were able to add skills. So now we further offered tutorials and using Microsoft Teams, which is a different type of tool, and then adding in the other tools that you can use. Innovating is, you know, our face-to-face meetings tend to have the same format each week, or mine do anyway, and maybe that's my club. But most of the clubs that I've visited have the same format each time. And, you know, face-to-face meetings can do that and give people that sense of community and reassurance. But also it's an opportunity to do some different things, like beaming different people in, having different kinds of events. Communication is obviously key during any time of connecting in different ways. And interestingly, in the Pacific Islands, most people don't have laptops. They have internet, but it can be unstable. So running long sessions on internet isn't always feasible. But WhatsApp and Messenger are fantastic tools, and they're used all the time for their group communication. We set up in our club, we set up a WhatsApp group to keep people connected, which we used regularly. And at the same time, had a telephone tree just to make sure that people were still engaged. You know, if someone wasn't coming for a while, just to connect in. And then lastly, giving people the different resources that they need. So clubs, we encouraged clubs in our district to all buy a Zoom license. Rotary had them at a discounted rate to buy Zoom licenses. Now, one of the key things I'm seeing is that instead of meeting face-to-face for board meetings, most of the board meetings happen online. The club meetings happen face-to-face, but the board meetings are happening online. And having fun is really important. So things like trivia nights, quizzes have been a great, my husband belongs to a different Rotary club, and they have great online quizzes. Some of those kinds of things are just a few of the ideas, and we can talk about some more. Then I thought I'd just briefly, here's the graphic that Christine was talking about, which is actually borrowed from a district in Australia, but it's pretty cool to use because, you know, you need to have some ground rules when you're running online meetings. And I thought this was really nice. I've sent a copy of it to Christine, so she's free to share that with whoever she'd like to. And then connecting to attract new members. I don't want to teach you to, we have this saying, I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs. So you know how, you know a lot of those things, I'm sure, about making sure your online presence is right up there and current. How did Christine find me? You know, so we're doing that a whole lot more. So that's really important. Doing projects, we can still do projects online during this time. There've been some amazing projects. One of the clubs in one of the districts that I look after, when we went first into lockdown, advertised through Facebook that they were willing to help people who couldn't go shopping, because our first lockdown, we could only go to the supermarket, you know, like really basic things. So they connected into the community. They found people who couldn't go out, so they were either unwell or elderly or whatever, and they offered to do their shopping for them. What happened was 3 Rotary clubs banded together. They also connected into some of the other community organizations. But one of the things that Rotary does so well is connect different groups together, but also manages projects very effectively. So they became the coordinator for a whole area, a whole part of north of Auckland that had a lot of elderly people, and they became the sort of key community go-to for people who needed help for quite a long period of time. It was really very effective. Fundraising still happens. Our district has just done an online art auction for polio. I'm also involved in my community art gallery. We've just done an online auction. Again, those kinds of things that seem to be pretty effective. We also, in our district, set up a fund for Rotarians who were greatly disadvantaged. So, for example, our president of the Rotary Club of Kiribati got stuck in Fiji on her way home to Kiribati with her mother and her very young baby. So, and she had no money. Her husband was in Kiribati because he was a doctor there, and she just had nowhere. We reached out to Rotarians. A Rotarian in Nandi was able to provide her with accommodation. We set up a fund which helped provide her with some immediate financial support until she was able to get things sorted. And there were other Rotarians as well. So that was also very effective. And we ran lots of events, virtual dinners, fundraising dinners, or just fun dinners, social hours. I mentioned trivia nights, quizzes, all those kinds of things. So again, lots of, I didn't want to repeat all the things that were in the article that I wrote. So these are just some other examples that have been used. So I guess one of the key things really is that Rotary is even more relevant in these times, I think, than it was before. We already have connections across the world, as well as within our districts and within our clusters of clubs within our districts. And, you know, I think we can really take the lead and show the way in how to connect and how to be relevant when things are changing. I know the bigger Rotary world doesn't change terribly fast, but local Rotarians are very adaptable. And we can really, you know, get out there and do a whole lot more things. There isn't any single right way of doing things. There are lots and lots and lots of examples. And we can do all these, you know, if we do things together and we harness the energy and the knowledge and the expertise of our Rotarians, then there's no end to what, you know, we can do, and no end to the ideas that we can share. So I thought I'd just give you kind of a quick overview, because there's a whole lot, but it's boring to watch too much on a screen. So what I'd like to do now is to open it up for questions and discussion as to ideas that you've mentioned. So safety is critical. That is a great point that Debbie has mentioned. So let's kick off. Kathy.
I was curious about how you run your virtual dinners.
Yeah, so a couple of examples that I know of is people had, now this has happened since we've been able to have up to 10 people in a house. So we got, I know one of the Rotary clubs a little while ago had their anniversary. They got 10 people in a number of different houses. They connected each one up to Zoom. And so they didn't obviously have the whole dinner on Zoom, but they connected together in the beginning and then at different times during the evening, or maybe they just, sometimes they've connected up for drinks. There's another charitable organization in Auckland that did a fundraising dinner online. So again, they had people in houses, and they had a central place where the kind of the main organizers were, and they were able to do an auction online to raise money that way. We've done, my group of governors from New Zealand meet regularly. We have drinks on Zoom about once every 6 weeks and just catch up with everyone. So that's been effective. Yeah. Other questions or comments? What are some of the things that you guys are doing? I mean, what level of lockdown are you in at the moment?
Most of us in Oregon are pretty much still locked down. I think restaurants are open for takeout only.
All right.
So a meeting, you know, of 10 even is not something that most of us are willing to attempt.
Yeah. But
I've noticed that some clubs are actually considering moving towards a hybrid meeting in a permanent, for going forward into the future, that instead of Zoom being something we do until things get back to normal, that Zoom might be a tool that we use moving into the future. Like you said, in board meetings, it's so true. One thing that you talked about was, and I thought that I'm going to take home, is a telephone tree. Now that's something that I remember from 100 years ago. But, you know, I think during the holidays, that might be a way we all of our clubs probably have some members that haven't been present or haven't been engaged, maybe even past due on their dues. And just reaching out to share holiday greetings might be something, an idea. Has anybody done anything like that, and how's that worked?
Well, Chris, that's a great point. I'm kind of curious. I guess RI is going to be raising dues again, $2 per capita for the next 3 years. And I'm just kind of wondering if that's well advised at this time when we're seeing a membership drop. I'm perplexed about that, frankly.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you on that. A number of our districts in New Zealand have actually lowered their district dues because of, you know, people have been in hardship. A lot of people, especially in tourism, we're very reliant on tourism in New Zealand, and with no one coming in, a lot of people's businesses have gone. And so we've dropped dues locally, but we're not seeing that from RI. And yeah, I think that is something that could be thought of. Interestingly, what some of our districts have done, if they haven't lowered the dues, now that we are able to, we have a multi-district pets once a year where all 6 districts in New Zealand come together. and it's always at the beginning of March. So we are holding it next year because we can, as long we have a backup plan if we go back into lockdown. But some of the districts are subsidizing their members to go because they haven't spent what they had budgeted for face-to-face training this year. So there are some interesting things I think we can be thinking about there in terms of connecting and using. You know, the budgets were done before lockdown, so districts have money. But that's a good point, Bill. I think I agree with you.
I know that in our district 5110, we consider ourselves really wide and spread out, and how hard it is to bring people together for training sessions or leadership institutes or any of that kind of thing. And then I saw your map. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You know, we got to quit whining. We don't have it bad at all here.
It is. Yeah. Actually, what's happened, it's accelerated. Lockdown has accelerated something that we had been talking about for ages, which was to actually do more virtual learning events. So we ran out, I think all the districts in New Zealand ran their first president-elect training online. And that required some, you know, some readjustment of how it was done. And we've done the same thing with RLI and run it online. So we talked about it, but we hadn't done it. And actually being in lockdown has made us do it and made us actually get on and change the way we do things. And we're not going to go back now. So we're going to continue. With RLI, we'll continue to do it face-to-face, but we're going to actually create some online sessions before and after to connect people and connect into the learning center with some pre-work. So rather than a 2-day face-to-face session, we'll have 1 day, because we're also realizing that people's attitudes towards how much time they have changed. And so they, you know, 1 day, they'll happily give a whole day, but 2 whole days is they're thinking, oh, you know, do I really need to do this now that I know I can do so much of this stuff online? So there's some interesting comments coming in the chat.
Yeah, let's talk about those.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of people calling members and checking in. And I think that's really, really important. We had some members in my club, for example, who just said, I'm not going to come. Well, after the first couple of Zoom meetings, they just said, I'm not going to come anymore. And we don't want to lose them. So we need to find other, you know, get creative and find some other ways. Monitoring attendance is so important. And a couple of people had either illnesses or serious business problems. And this has been really important for them to keep connected into Rotary and know that they've got support there. Board buddies is great. Board members calling. Yeah, reducing some dues that's been a really great help, or using it in another way to benefit members.
I know some clubs have always included lunch with their dues. And so they, you know, they're not doing that now, which gives some relief. Our club decided to try to offer more membership support, financial support, which is another one of those things we had been talking about for, you know, ever. And COVID kind of made us backed us into a corner, and now we're actually doing something. We've got a form that's real sweet and sensitive, asking people if they can use some financial help. And then we've got some angels that are willing to help them. Don't have results yet on that, but it's just something as far as when we're reaching out to members and finding out how they're doing. It's you know, it's a sensitive topic to ask, well, how are your finances? And have you paid your dues yet? But is there a way we can help? Thomas?
Yeah, I'm glad this subject came up, because we've actually had a few newer member possibilities, and we don't have a structure for any kind of tiered dues structure. And we're considering that. And our most recent recruit is 19 years old. And he's going to be a lifetime Rotarian, sure as I'm sitting here. But I had to ask the kid for a full half-year dues. And because we couldn't get restructured in time. But is anybody attempting to offer some sort of tiers for dues?
Yes.
Dawn, you're
haven't
nodding
yet.
your head. And so is Monica. Any comments there?
We haven't
We-
yet, but I think it's a very, very good idea. And I'm pushing for it too. So when you find out, let me know.
Well, I think that might be a future forum topic. I'm just from what I'm hearing and I'm seeing heads nod that how do people and how can we better accommodate, not just now, you know, but in the future. Paul Robinson, if you unmute yourself, you might have something to say.
Does this assume that there's going to be paying the full amount of the dues? It's just going to be spread over a period of time, or do they actually get a reduction in the total cost of the dues? And does that include meals?
So far,
Above.
so far, what we've tried is we have given a couple of members discreetly the opportunity to pay in basically half-year increments. And so now we're up against a possibility of at least one of the two not being able to go the second half. So we're looking at that angel kind of a structure just to get us through this year. And then the only other idea that's percolating so far is to build the dues around the RI piece, the district piece, and then figure out how to compensate for the rest of the dues within our club budget.
I don't have the numbers in my head, but about 4 years ago, the Eugene Rotary went to a tiered membership due system that was defined by categories of age. So the younger the member, the lower the dues.
Interesting. Which club was that, Monica?
The Eugene Rotary Club, Rotary Club of Eugene.
Okay, thanks.
And did that change?
I
for
believe
retirement?
it's worked very well because we especially have a good connection with the Rotaract Club at the University of Oregon. And so, you know, those students, young adults, are always welcome in our club, and we're really happy to be able to offer them a lower price point for membership.
Yeah, Debbie's posted some great ideas in the chat too. And we have clubs that do the same thing. We subsidize the club through their club dues part, subsidizes Rotaractors so that they can also become Rotarians and engage with them that way. And family members, we have clubs looking at family memberships and things like that too. So you really do need to do it through your club dues, because district and RI dues tend to be fixed.
Well,
I can see Kim asking.
so I had a couple different questions, but in reference to what Ingrid just said, I think what he's saying, because we've thought about this too, is that have them pay enough to at least cover the RI and district dues. Like right now, our dues are basically just for basic operations, but that had to do with us meeting at the graduate, which would include like our media fees and things like that. And I actually went to, and I used to bill semi-annually, and we went to an annual billing, which actually helped people who had employers who were paying, with the option of 6 months. But again, now I'm seeing people who are very slow to pay. So I think we need to intervene with some folks and see how we can help them. The other question I had is is anyone doing anything where they're doing some trade-off for someone's vocational work in lieu of dues? Like I know you got Christine, you guys just had added Nick to your club. I'm so jealous. And but like the video work that he does, you know, I mean, things like that. I've thought about doing something like that as well.
We don't do a trade-off for Nick. We do kind of a trade-off for our website developer. We pay her because she has staff that she pays, so we, and then she still has to pay her dues, but it's kind of works out to the same. Let me throw in, since I got the floor for 2 seconds, 2 questions. I want to point them to Ingrid at first, but then I want y'all to think about them and let's talk about this. We started offering online payments, and our treasurer came unglued because we have to pay a fee. And okay, so that's one thing to talk about. And then to enable people who maybe were on the younger end of the spectrum, who a 6-month or a year-long bill is just like, oh, such a big amount. We started offering that they could pay monthly. And the treasurer came unglued because now she's got to handle these monthly payments instead of once every 6 months or once every year. Ingrid, what do clubs in your districts, how do they do with those 2 things?
Well, actually, they do the whole range of things. So you can imagine in the Pacific Islands, the issues are the same as they are for a lot of young people in our communities, because we have a lower district dues for our Pacific Island clubs because people's incomes there are less, and in some places like Kiribati, significantly less than in New Zealand. And in a lot of the Pacific Islands, they have monthly dues, and we do all ours on internet banking. So I pay either in person, cash, or online for my weekly meetings, and I just do internet banking and it doesn't cost anything, but maybe your banking system's probably different, so maybe they charge, but we have the whole range. I think it does monthly or monthly dues is often a bit more work for your treasurer, so as long as they're willing to do that. And you have to obviously make sure that people do it on actually make their monthly payments, but it does suit a number of people. And there's no reason why you can't. I mean, basically we charge clubs annually for their district dues. And obviously they get charged twice a year for their RI dues. And then we charge, in my club, most clubs charge annually for their dues, but they have flexibility. And I think that's something that every club can work out as to what suits their audience the best.
Comments? Questions?
I like that.
Solutions?
I like the point that Kim made, gave me an idea, and that is maybe we could work a little bit harder for the club member whose employer is less eager to support that employee in Rotary. Maybe we can strengthen that connection, because all companies benefit from having an employee, a manager, or whatever, placed within Rotary. It's good for business, and maybe we could look at that as a strategy to develop some kind of a fund for the less able to pay. I borrowed that one from you, Kim. I'm giving it back to you.
Do you have
Ingrid? Excuse me.
Chris? Sorry.
Ingrid, I just want to follow up a little bit. I'm not real knowledgeable about online banking. Are you talking about like Vimeo or some of those other services?
We have, our banking is, I can go into my bank account and make a direct credit to another bank account, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. ACH.
I don't know what you call it in the States, but I have done, I had to send money to the States. I have to do it a different way. But
there are a number of money transfer platforms now that, especially my adult children, are using with quite a bit of confidence. I can't quite bring myself. I hope I'm not showing my age, but they transfer money around with their watches and their phones, and it's instantaneous. And it just occurred to me that I wonder if that would be an option for collecting dues for those members that were comfortable with that.
It's worth looking into because it makes life very easy for people. And a number of people I know who make, they set up an automatic payment every week for their weekly meeting fee. And if they don't attend, they see that. That's just how some people see it. I don't do that. I just pay when I go. But
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Venmo is working well for us, Monica.
Venmo is the other one. Yeah.
Okay, great.
We piloted it with Happy Dollars, and it's really working, and no charge, no carrying fee on that.
And your members are comfortable with it.
More than I thought would be. I mean, Bill Greil, he's on the screen. He's in for about $10 every week because he's either happy about a whole lot of stuff or somebody suggests that he should be.
And the somebody is usually you.
It's probably just like with Zoom, we've got to train people, and we've got to, slowly encourage them to join the next century. Chris Muldry, you have your hand up several times.
Yeah, I was just curious to know. I was curious to know what the Eugene Club's tiered due structure might look like. Whether there's a way to get a hold of that.
Yes, I'd be happy to send it. If you want to just send me your email, or Chris, if I send it to you, can you send it out?
You bet.
I just don't have it in my head, but I have it in the computer somewhere. So I'd be happy to send that to you. And
it would be interesting. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
In the future,
I think one of the questions I had, excuse me, Chris, was I think we all have different base prices for our membership dues. So I'll send that out as well. Our dues in Eugene are $175 every 6 months.
Okay.
So
Monica, is there a reduced rate? Do you know for seniors?
Yes.
There's not. Oh, for both ends.
Seniors. I'll have to look.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested.
Look. I think there are about 3 tiers, and I think it was a decision made in a board meeting because it's a policy change. And I think it was really primarily a consideration to accommodate younger members. But I don't know, Rick, if you remember, I'll get it out to you.
I tell you what, next meeting, let's talk about the whole dues structure, how we support members, how we help fund them, how we break it down, what kind of platforms we use, yada, yada, yada. For the last 15 minutes, since we've got Ingrid here, I would like us to focus on reaching out ideas, because we're not going to have members to talk about dues about if we don't keep them engaged and we don't keep reaching out to them. So let's pull it back to that. And I want ideas or problems that you've had trying to keep some of those members engaged. I'll start with one. There's some people that just don't answer their phone calls and they won't return messages. Now, what are we going to do about these people? We've got to keep them engaged.
Yeah. And it becomes harder, because if they're not coming to meetings, then you don't have that opportunity to just have a chat to find out what's going on. I think it's like in any Rotary Club, in my view, the key to keeping people engaged is having really great projects for them to do. And this is something that I saw in my club when we were in lockdown, is that we didn't initiate anything new. And I think there are I've seen quite a lot of examples of doing new things. So for example, now we're lucky because we have the Pacific, but there are other parts of the world that aren't in lockdown that are still doing projects that are engaging people on the ground who need connection. They either need some kind of advice or support, or they need finance to help them do their project. And that can be something, to perhaps email people who aren't coming and saying, we're doing this project, do you want to get involved? Or start, I guess you don't know when you're going to be out of lockdown. I presume all our lockdowns were for prescribed periods of time, which does make it a little easier. But yeah, it's a real challenge. I did also want, I know Corey wanted to ask a question, so I'll come back to you in a sec, Corey. But I also did want to talk about, or have you think about how you attract people to come along and get, to engage when you're meeting virtually, because a number of clubs have actually been very successful in bringing new members in and have held online inductions to engage people in their club and grow them, because the club's been doing some fun things while they've been meeting online.
Which is another one of our future topics, recruiting virtually. That was going to be next month, but I'm hearing, I think I'll poll you at the very end of this session to see, would you rather talk next month? We'll do, those are our next 2 months, but which one do you want to talk about first? Makes sense to me that we talk about getting our finances together to figure out, and then recruiting people. But maybe you want to turn that around and recruit them first and then figure out how to get money out of them.
I don't know.
Jill.
Yeah, we had a really successful program at Jacksonville Applegate. We divided the club into 4 groups, and there were about 8 to 10 people per group. Each of those groups, because we are not able to meet in person at all, did everything virtually. They got together via Zoom and they picked their own project. So instead of having one project for the club, each group had their own project. And we had 100% participation. It was really a fabulous way to break up into smaller groups. There was more connectivity amongst the smaller groups, and we kept advising every couple of weeks in a general forum at our regular meeting. And so some of the groups mingled and ended up working together, which was really fun. And it just was a great way to get people involved. Even the people that did not want to Zoom, did not respond to phone calls and messages, they all stepped up because they picked their own project.
Fantastic idea. Corey, did you have a question before?
Oh, no, I placed my comments in the chat. So.
Oh, fine.
Okay. I didn't read it.
It was just about dues and things like that, but.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, Jill, you triggered, if I can just share a quick example of something. A number of clubs were finding that when they were meeting on Zoom, people would come into a big meeting like this and they didn't particularly enjoy the experience. So people gradually dropped off over time, especially some of the older ones. So what they did is when people came in, they went straight into a small breakout room. I don't know whether you use breakout rooms much. We use them all the time. We've just done our governor-elect training online, and the breakout rooms were really successful for that. But in a club meeting, we found that if people go into a breakout room initially, it's just like when you're at a meeting and you get to chat with 3 or 4 or 5 people before you maybe sit down for your meal or however it works. And that works really nicely to give that more intimate conversation where you really find out what's going on with people.
I got to start using those.
Thomas had a comment.
Yes. Call me Tom. I don't know how to get on there. Ingrid, you asked about some other ways to reach out. I borrowed from one of these sessions earlier when we've had 2 projects in December, both labor intensive. And so I went back to the data from the same prior project last year. And went down through that list and contacted everybody who worked the year before to get them involved this year. That brought in a few who aren't doing Zoom or any other thing with us. That scored. And then it also, then after that, I went to the whole membership, and for everybody else that I had not contacted and didn't know for sure that they could or could not work. And so the function, the event became the mechanism to reach out.
Great. Yeah, great example. Okay, we only got a few minutes left. Has anyone got any other questions or comments they want to make? I mean, I'm sure you've got loads and loads of the answers, lots more. We just have some different experiences on our side of the world.
Right.
I was just going to chime in. I thought this conversation was really interesting, and I'm excited to go back to my board and see if we've considered tiers and what those tiers might look like. I'm really interested in making sure we're thinking about it and thinking about it in a way that helps us to promote diversity and not perpetuate ourselves. So I'm less interested in a family member discount, because I think that is the way that we might be perpetuating ourselves, and more interested in looking at what are some tiers that we could create to get people that might not have otherwise found their way to Rotary, or for students, because we do a better job of attracting seniors, but not so many students. So I'm excited to take that back to my club.
Thank you, Jessica, because this is somebody that's in a very diverse club, if you ask me.
In fact, I want to comment to Jessica and just the rest of you, as I've been joining their mixology fundraiser that they did. This will be our last week, and it has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Ingrid, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's fine. I was just going to comment that one of the key things, and you probably already thought of this, is that actually a lot of the costs are around meals, and we're finding a lot of our newer clubs, and particularly the clubs with younger members, they don't have meals. We have a club in the southern part of the country called NRG, New Rotary Generation, and they all started as young people. They met twice a month only. They either met at someone's house, or they met at a coffee bar or at a bar. If they wanted a drink or food, they did, but they didn't have to. So they actually had no cost pretty much associated with their meeting. They did have their dues, obviously, but their club dues, they worked out what their club dues needed to be. And that, when that considerably reduces cost, which means you're more attractive to a lot of those groups of people who otherwise wouldn't join. Yep. So those I kind of covered off most of it, well, everything that I wanted to. I think, Christine, you have that graphic and you have a copy of the article if people want to read it. But
and I'm going to send out the video of this session, because I did get emails from people that I can't make it tomorrow. So you'll get a copy of the video. You can cut out pieces of it and share, or refresh your memory about what did she say about what, and how big are those districts she's from, for heaven's sakes. So I will be doing that, but I'd like to see in form of hands. We have two options for next month's forum. The first one, the one it was going to be, because that was the polling top level from last month, was recruiting virtually. But the idea that came out of this group today makes me want to also compare or prioritize dues structuring and collection, how we accommodate that. So if you will raise your hand, if you'd rather talk first about, and this will be like January and February, so it's not like forever away, but in January, would you rather talk about recruiting virtually? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, no, sorry. No.
No?
No, I was wrong.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys
sorry.
another chance for people like Bill that can't follow direction. I would include myself in that too. Would you want to talk next month about recruiting virtually? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many would you rather talk about dues structuring and collections? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll talk about that. But for those of you that voted for recruiting virtually, right on the heels of next month's meeting, we will be talking about that. And then I'll be polling you for what comes next, because all of our topics come from you. What you want to talk about, what will help your club. And that's what we're here to do, is to solve each other's problems. Any comments, last minute comments from any of you? Bill Greil, Corey Laparty, I look to you guys as being leaders and trailblazers before I ask Ingrid one more time.
Great meeting, Chris. Wonderful leadership on your part. Thanks so much.
No, this is great from Ingrid. She was just a soft touch. So is Corey. Corey's been our facilitator twice, and he was our first one that I contacted him and say, hey, I get this idea about this forum thing. Will you facilitate it? And we didn't know what we were doing, and it was great. It was fun, and we learned a lot and have improved it since. And then he came back last time and talked about hybrid meetings. So we strive to get really good speakers, which brings me back to Ingrid. I want to thank you so much for being so willing and having a last name that attracted my attention. And then when I saw all your credentials, it was like, oh my gosh, I've got to reach out to this person. And I couldn't find your phone number online talking about being available.
Oh, I shall
email, but I found you on Facebook, and that's how I tracked her down. So Jerry, looks like you've got your hand up for something.
Yes, just curious, what time is it in New Zealand?
It is now 2 minutes to 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning.
They are 19 or 21 hours ahead of us.
Yeah. So actually, I did miss my own Rotary Club meeting this morning.
That was the other thing. When I checked you out, I noticed that your club meets at Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. And I thought, ooh, I'm asking her to skip a meeting, but
that's all right.
This was use my name, use that calling card. Maybe I could get away with it.
You did. You did. I've learned lots, actually, just having this conversation, and this is a wonderful forum. As an ARC, we've had a get together of all our New Zealand district chairs, but you do this every month?
Yes.
This is great. I'm going to recommend that we pick up this idea and take it further. Because
I'm glad to share all my concepts, but they're really pretty simplistic. Jill, you've got your hand up real quick. Then I got to go.
Yeah, Ingrid, I just wanted to tell you, some of the other folks already know this, but our club president is actually in New Zealand and has been for the last several months. And we meet at 7 a.m. Oregon time, and she's up at the crack of dawn the next day, I think around 2 or 3, and she has not missed a meeting yet. So without this vehicle, we wouldn't be able to have her as our president. So it's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. Whereabouts in New Zealand is she?
She's around the Auckland area, I believe.
Oh, well, suggest that she'd like to visit.
I shall.
To come to my club, or I live on Waiheke Island, which she will know. And my husband's a member of that club, so it would be nice to connect.
That's what I love about Rotary. We're not trying to solve our problems in a vacuum. We have friends around the world, and all we have to do is find them and ask. And with the web, we can find them. With Facebook or the internet, we can track them down and ask the question. And people are, Rotarians are happy to serve. That's what we're all about. So I have yet to hear, no thanks, I'm busy that day, from anyone I've asked to be a facilitator. That's how easy it is. So thank you again, Ingrid. Thank you all for coming on this great day that we're having in Oregon. Ingrid's enjoying summer. She's got a lot of nerve to tell us that. So is Chris Muldry, but he's faking it. But anyway, thank you all for coming, and I got to adjourn the meeting. Your time is valuable. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Christine.
Thank you, Ingrid. I'll be back in touch.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do.
Okay.